Hi everyone, and welcome to session 5 of your path to UiPath Mastery with me, Ash Kulkarni from UiPath MVP group, and I'm from Australia, New Zealand. And if you're live from Australia, it's 11 p.m. for me. So it's a special treat if you're joining so late. So thanks for that, and also all around the world, hello, and I hope your weekend has been good so far. We are about to get into the session 5 of Your Path to UiPath Mastery with Anirudh. Anirudh is waiting on another screen, and I'll bring him up in just a minute. So, just to recap what we've done so far, we'll just take a look at what Anirudh has been doing. Just that's becoming kind of the usual routine, and then also how we've been doing that, so that if you want to start playing along at home, then you can follow the exact steps to do what Anirudh is doing. Just a little bit of background on what we are trying to do here is Anirudh is a mechanical engineer with almost zero experience or background in programming, and the aim here is to learn RPA, Robotic Process Automation, using UiPath as the platform or tool of choice. And Anirudh is trying to learn and develop his skills as a UiPath developer, an RPA developer, not just a citizen developer, which is a different thing. We'll tackle that later. But a professional RPA developer to probably build a career path for himself and make a you know make a make an income through choosing RPA as a career. That is the goal here, and we are getting there slowly and one step at a time, one week at a time. We are going deeper and deeper, and also hopefully helping you to do the same on at your own pace. So when Anirudh comes back on screen, we are going to talk about what he's been doing in this last week since our last live session, which was previous Sunday, and then after that we will also discuss what the next steps are going to be for him, so that we can catch up 1 week later again. So I'll bring up Anirudh now, and also along with that you will see the progress tracker. That is how we've been tracking Anirudh's progress. It's a little spreadsheet that we've set up. I'll zoom it in so that everyone can see. Yeah, everyone can see clearly, and let me bring Anirudh on screen as well. Hi Anirudh, we can see you now.
Hello. Hello, Ash.
Yeah, so
Thank you. Thank you so much for calling me again.
yes, welcome back. And as I was just telling everyone who's watching, that
Yeah.
we've been doing a few things to help you get started on your path, career path as an RPA developer. So before I ask you what you've been up to for the last week, to everyone's benefit who are just watching this now for the first time, we've been doing this for almost over a month now, because this is session 5 and there was a gap week in between. So uh, Anirudh, as you can see from the dates here, we've been doing this since July. It's the start of September, so we are kind of a month and a half
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
So Anirudh started off with, as I already mentioned, he's a mechanical developer. So uh, he has not worked as a programmer before, or he has never learned a programming language before. So the power of RPA is that with robotic process automation, that is RPA, we it is a low code no code tool, which means we can use almost zero or even absolutely zero code, and get an automation working. Automations are basically, we call them robots sometimes automation. They are interchangeably used, but technically they are slightly different. Automation is the software process that runs, and robot is, it would be like a machine that runs that process. So the automation process uh, is basically, it's the singular small, like, individual unit that we can employ, um, to automate a process, like something that someone was manually doing inside a business. It could be anything like sending out invoices, sending out email reports, checking emails, and making certain decisions based on that. All of these processes, these days you might have heard robotic process automation get mentioned a lot, because a lot of companies across different domains, it could be banking, insurance, legal, medical, so all any different departments that you can think of, they are all using automation in their, the smallest or big capacity, like the large capacity, to automate their processes and free up their people's time so that they can do more valuable things, like the things that actually need human attention. That could be speaking to customers, or upskilling their own internal team so that they can perform their current actions better, and avoid doing all the boring repetitive tasks. That's what RPA focuses on. And there's also some part of intelligent automation now involved, that is kind of like the natural progression of robotic process automation. So intelligent automation, you must have heard, AI get mentioned a lot these days, chat GPT, all of these things are being integrated into RPA. So it's overall, the next place that the workforce is going to be at, and it'll become like an individual part or integral part of any business process in the future, which is why we are focusing on RPA as a career maker. So it doesn't matter what field you're working in, but robotic process automation, even just knowing a little bit about it, whether you want to choose it as a career, or just to be aware and just to use it for your leverage, or for your benefit, in whatever role that you currently play at your organization. It's going to help you to know about this technology, no matter which role and no matter which industry you're in, which is why we're focusing on RPA. And here, as I already mentioned 2 times, the goal is to prove that even someone coming from absolutely no programming background can teach themselves or learn a little bit of necessary programming skills, and coupled with the uh, the easy learning process of low code no code tools like UiPath, they can make themselves a career that would have been non-existent, let's say 5 years ago, because all of these things have evolved so much over the last few years, that it's become incredibly easier, and also much more accessible for anyone to learn and develop their skills. So let me bring up the screen back again. What we did was we simply set up a plain progress tracker. It's not even like a system. So far, it's not like a sophisticated system. I literally just set up a Google Drive, Google Sheet that you can set up for yourself. And in the first week, we simply focused on creating a few new accounts. So you get yourself a UiPath account, and ideally keep it attached to just one account, one email, and create 3 different accounts: academy.uipath.com, cloud.uipath.com, and forum. Academy is the online learning portal provided by UiPath. All of their courses, their free education, including how to set up the free developer studio. UiPath Studio is the developer component of UiPath platform. You can get started absolutely free, and you can have a lifetime free subscription to all of their services in the community edition licensing model. So go to Academy, get yourself an account, use the same account to set up your cloud account, which is the community edition license, as I just mentioned. It'll give you a free automation cloud license on which you can access Orchestrator, which is a central or very important component of how UiPath platform functions. And Forum is the third or is the third system that I'm recommending that you set up your account on. This is not a necessity, but it's highly recommended. So after Academy, Forum is your second best resource to learn or get answers or get help on anything that you will, any challenges that you'll run to when you learn UiPath. Once that's done, we got Anirudh to complete his developer foundation course, which, by the way, once again, Anirudh, congratulations! I saw your post and I also shared it on my LinkedIn network. So congratulations once more.
Thank you so much. And it was possible just because of you. I was completely
Thanks.
unaware that there's something called the academy and the forum. And honestly, it really helped me a lot while doing the certification course. I have come across so many things, so many questions which were very simple to answer, but they were making a lot of sense. And the best part was they were taking the follow up, like what we can say, uh, after every certificate, after every test, they used to take a follow up, like what we can improve. And that was a very good part what I liked. And forum is like a small Google for UiPath, like where I can go and ask any silly question regarding UiPath. See, as a beginner, I have a couple of questions in my mind, which may sound very foolish at some times, but people there are very calm and they come up and they help. That is what makes this community stronger, I believe. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
When I'm Google is unable to answer, the people there, the real time people give the answers. They provide the solution, and it's really helping me a lot day in day out. Yeah.
Absolutely. Um, yeah. So uh, I'm glad that you're finding the forum and academy useful, and also yes, just to kind of complete that loop. So if you clicked on these links and if anyone watching this is interested, just drop it in a comment, and I can provide all these links. I'll also try and set up a resource that you can just access at any time rather than posting all of these links in every YouTube live session that we do in future. I'll just set up a template that you can use for yourself. But just to showcase or just to highlight the developer foundation course or that kind of like particularly named course, what this is it's, I mean, in this case it's just one particular course. But if you go to this website, what you'll find here is learning plans, and depending on your current skill level, you can choose exactly which path do you want to take. So if you just looked at courses, it'll probably overwhelm you at the start. If you went to see how many courses there are about there are currently 231 courses to take on,
Yeah.
and it will overwhelm you. Some of these are a repeat or a better version of a previous course. So it, you might end up just doing something twice and not really learn too much of like a lot of with a lot of difference. So it's the easiest to just go to the learning plans and find yourself the most ideal course that you would like to learn. If you have any questions or doubts about how to choose, uh, I have some videos that I've already made, but you can also just leave a comment on this video, and I'll reply with the best possible option for you. So depending on current Anirudh's current level, I asked him to take on the developer foundation course. Once the foundation course is complete, you can move on to RPA developer advanced and other such courses. So this is what we started off with, and then aside from that, I just gave him a little bit of extra work to do on the side, such as make sure that any courses that you complete, then highlight them on LinkedIn, because that gives you visibility in the network. And also, you know, y- when you connect with other people who are from the same field, you also find out what they've been up to and what they are learning, so that you can also utilize for your own use, how those courses or anything that they are doing could help you. Sometimes there are webinars that you can find out about just by being active on LinkedIn. So the webinars, they help because sometimes they're from UiPath, sometimes it's just UiPath MVPs, or uh, you know other people who are active in the RPA community. They are doing educational training sessions over webinars on a weekly or monthly or fortnightly basis. So definitely worth being active on LinkedIn to find out about these opportunities all the time. Um, Now, secondly, I'll just try to bring it a little down. Should still be visible. Yeah, I can see that the resolution isn't too bad. Uh, yeah. So let's not spend a lot more time on just recap, but we did have actually we had two full sessions, or two and a half full sessions just talking about RE framework and exception handling. We spent a lot of time on those, uh, and I think it was helpful because it did clear out a few questions I didn't know you had. So thanks for bringing them up, because it was interesting to see how you were looking at those things, and then kind of like we tried to sort it out by making it more relatable. For example, try catch
Yeah.
block, we use that insurance analogy, where it a try catch block for exception handling is kind of like an insurance policy, so that um, you have it in your program, hoping that you never have to use it. But then, just in case sometimes something does go wrong, you have a backup for that. And that backup plan, is what exception handling blocks are. So I kind of like assigned that only one item for you to do is to go and watch that video,
Yes.
YouTube video. So
Yes. Absolutely.
I believe you've done that. We could discuss that. If you had further questions, we can probably set up something else for that. Um, and this was just like a hint on how to read about UiPath. You know, UiPath Docs is like the documentation portal. So if you just Googled UiPath Docs, it'll it'll take you to the main documentation portal. But if you want to find out something specific about anything, then you just put that keyword on and it'll take you to that particular page. So the search engine optimization, as SEO as they say, is so strong on UiPath that if you just used UiPath forum, you'll get different results, because most of the links then will be from forum.uipath.com. So it's optimized uh, to the best of its capacity. And anything that you have a question, if you want forum to be your source of answers, then you just put the keyword forum, or you can put UiPath Docs, and then accordingly you'll get results presented to you, and you can go through them, learn and read. So I think that that should cover the quick recap, as I was trying to do. But I think it helps to reiterate or revise that everything that we've been doing, because it brings up either new questions, or just the repetition is key. You learn by repetition. So it's good to revise everything that we've been doing. Now, the exciting part about today's session is that, as I mentioned it in my LinkedIn post, Anirudh has finished his first RE framework based project, and not just one, he has completed a dispatcher performer pair. We will look at what dispatcher performer is. I'll briefly cover that after I let Anirudh speak for a while. But Anirudh, uh, I would ask you to just, please share as to what the problem statement was. So, what was the goal that we were trying to solve by creating the dispatcher performer. I know this is for assignment, so it's not a real life problem, but
Yeah.
this is how problems will be presented when we build actual solutions in real life. So you get a problem statement, and then you decide how your automation is going to tackle it, how do you break it down to design it, etc. And then I suppose let's break it down into two different parts, which is like what were the new learnings from
Yeah.
this experience, and then how were any of these helpful, if at all. So let's go that way.
Okay, so the first, I would say the learnings what I've got or I'm getting since all these live sessions, definitely it is adding more and more value to my to me. Okay, and as you guided me and as you suggested me to go and watch some use cases, here I started taking help of MVP Mukesh Kala sir. So
Yes.
one of his video it states about password reset. It was about password reset from the Hindi series. So I
Mm-hmm.
started watching that video and I started doing the same activity parallelly with him. But uh, even though I was doing the things parallelly, it used to give me an error, and they used to be very minor and very minor errors, like where the extension is not given to the browser, where the assets are not being created properly. One so these are the things, uh, and I have found one thing that I should create a temporary sequence in the other example where I can test the things first and then add it to the main XAML to avoid the surprises. Like once the project is ready, while getting the errors in the main XAML, I should create a temporary XAML where I can create the sample things and test by myself, by giving a good log message or any write line message to get the output, and then I should put it in the main XAML. So in this scenario where I have to, like in this dispatcher and performer, the task was very simple. Where considering a scenario that there's a company, people those are working, they have the login and ID, but if someone forgets the password of that password of it, so what will happen? So they have to give their mail ID there, and by like it will generate the password and the mail will go to them directly. They have to just
Mm-hmm.
raise the ticket. So I downloaded the material from his website and started doing the activity, started performing the process actually. So in the dispatcher, is it possible that I can share the screen?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll bring up this screen to full, and then you can share your screen.
Perfect. So the screen is visible now.
Yep.
Yeah, right. So first I created dispatcher here, which is a normal process. Okay. So this takes time for everyone. Yeah. I have a small question here.
Mm-hmm.
Once when we open the process, always it is in the modern thing, right? Then we have to switch it to classic.
Sorry, I didn't catch that. Which? Um,
Like when once we open the process, any other process,
yeah.
by default it is a modern design experience. Then we have to switch it to classic. Is it so?
Do, I mean, unless there's a specific reason, you shouldn't have to switch it to classic.
Yeah, but some of the dependencies are not there in the modern, so I have to switch it.
Yeah,
Some
in
other
in
time, not right,
in
not every
certain
time.
cases, yeah, that might be. So by default, yes, because you're using anyway, you're using community edition, so it is built to have the latest and greatest. You are going to have modern design experience. It gives you access to things like object repository, as you see here, to
Yeah,
your right. So
yeah. So as you see, my this thing, um, UiPath is in the dark mode now. I am in the club. I am the same. We both are in the same club that we both are using the
welcome,
dark
welcome.
theme. Okay, so this interesting part where I have to just put the asset values, not hard coding, directly hard coding. So that was an interesting part. So very uh, the main role was played by the orchestrator actually, wherever I was just dragging and dropping the things according like how it was asking me to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the thing, and yeah, for each activity, it is very important.
Yes. You used the Gmail activities, right? Google
Yeah,
Gmail.
Gmail.
Yeah, that's nice.
Actually, for this scenario, particularly, I took Outlook actually.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was just copying him directly. I could have chosen Gmail. Even I got the password, which was a big issue for me that Gmail was not getting here in the
Yeah.
like as I spent 24 hours searching how I can work with that. But in this scenario, I just used Outlook to save my time and
Mm-hmm.
just to make sure that all the things are going according to him. So even if I get any kind of error or any kind of exceptions, so it can be handled easily.
Right.
So rather than using Gmail, I used Outlook here. So the task was very simple. Um, there was a of list of people with some of them used to have there were like three columns, okay,
Yep.
and three columns. One used to one consisted of the name of the people individual. The second one was the ID, and third was the mail ID. Okay,
Okay.
so number and the mail ID.
Yep.
So there were some blank spaces. So it was designed in such a way that even if I get any kind of exception that the value is not found, so he explained in a very proper way that how we can add the exceptions here, and we created it very sequential manner, given the try and catch to every other process area, every other sequence where we can uh, get the exceptions accordingly. And best part is, I could, like, can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the best part, what I like about is like here, okay, my workspace. So this previously all this process, assets, queues, and everything was zero. But once I done with this thing, so here we have created all the uh, assets here in the orchestrator and started like I got to know how I can change the values here itself. No need to change anything there. No nothing. No hard coding. Even if I go with the Gmail next time, so I can just change the port value. I can change the server and rest of the credentials and everything. So it really helped me. Same with the performer, where I was able to um, okay, so the process. So when I was able to add the trigger to it,
Yep.
yeah. So even that was an interesting part. I got spam of mails. I because I have given my own mail ID, so it was a spam for me. But
Yes.
yeah,
We've
yeah.
all done that.
So yeah, so that's
So
all from me right now.
okay. Yeah. Let me bring up the tracker again. And yeah. Cool. Okay. So for whatever reason, um, video main you know the little window on the left is gone, so I was just trying to fiddle with that. Anyway, let the, the show must go on. Um, I think so. Just to give a little bit of background to the people who are watching and not really, uh, completely aware on what you are sharing there. Just as you when you are talking about the
Yeah.
processes and monitor and assets, etc. So what he is referring to is the RE framework and orchestrator, as I mentioned during my initial, you know, talk about the platform. So when you set up your account on cloud.uipath.com, you will get UiPath Orchestrator. Orchestrator is like this central platform where you can track your automations. You can track which robot is running which job on which automation, etc. And then also it gives you information about this is where you can configure how your automation can run across different environments. For example, if you wanted to test something and you have a test environment for your software, such as let's use a commonly used software such as Salesforce. Salesforce usually set up with a test environment and a production environment. So you could test only with test environment. So uh, UiPath projects give you the ability to customize certain parameters so that you don't have to hard code them or configure them inside the automation, and simply by changing a value on an online kind of like cloud environment, just simply changing it from test to production, you can have it run on those environments respectively. And that is the power of configuration, to avoid hard coding, and that is what is managed under assets, as Anirudh was just showing us earlier. So the project, and by the way, shout out to Mukesh. Mukesh, your student is doing really well, as you can see on this video, probably. So he has been following your content, and I've been encouraging him to do that because I know
Uh,
that your content is across Hindi and English platforms, and it helps viewers learn at their own pace and learn with languages that they are comfortable in. So thanks for that. And yeah, going back to what Anirudh was saying. So this this project, the tutorials that Mukesh has built, they come pre-built with the training material. So when you start, you will get all the material ready to download, and you just follow along the video. Half of the things are already done for you. So in the beginning, it'll be really helpful because you don't have to sort out a lot of housekeeping stuff. You just simply focus on learning the actual crux of the project, and then once you're familiar or more comfortable with doing this again and again, then you can start to explore different things like, what automation, sorry, what are assets, what are orchestrator components, what's monitoring, etc. So first, just follow one course, look at some material that gives you half of the stuff ready to go, and that's what Anirudh has done. So I think it's worked out very well for him because he's quite comfortable with the two projects that he has already built. So Anirudh, let me bring you up on the screen again and just tell us what. So the sessions that you have been doing in the last four sessions, anything that we discussed. Um, you already said that academy and forum were really helpful when you were learning these.
yeah.
What So in your experience, and this is for the benefit of anyone who will watch this down the line and try to follow along for themselves, how has sharing it on LinkedIn, sharing your progress on LinkedIn, or any of the other lessons that you learned, how has that helped in getting to the place you are currently?
Um, in this There are a couple of things happening around. Okay, so I created my LinkedIn account long back, but there was nothing to upload or any post anything. But as I did the certification and I posted it, and thanks to you that you gave me a shout out. So all of a sudden, all the people, all the people that are currently working with UiPath in the respective industries and companies, they have
Mm-hmm.
started sending me the request or started connecting with me. And even on the forum, people those who are like giving me solutions or answering my silly questions, what probably I will repeat again now. Okay, so even they are connecting with me on LinkedIn. So yes, definitely, I have made very good friends on that forum also, that they share like what things to be done and what things to avoid, what are the best practices. So I'm able to connect with real time users, real time people, just because of this these two ideas, that LinkedIn and forum. And the rest of the part, that as you said about RE framework, uh, I was completely unaware that there's something. Okay, but once in the first or second session you said about RE framework, and it built a curiosity in me. So gradually I started moving towards it, and I could really found it very helpful, because everything is already set. Okay, and I
Yeah.
just have to make some small modifications, provide some small inputs, and then I can get the things done within no time. So, and the last session which you shared with me about the insurance, that about the try and catch, that really completely vanished that doubt in my mind, which was there. Like I was completely blank in the first or two sessions when I saw the try and catch. I was not getting anything, but uh, repetitive actions or repetitive uh, practice definitely made me very comfortable with try and catch.
Yeah.
Similarly with RFM, that you explained it very step by step, everything. What is that in initialization? What is that in get transaction data? And the best part, what I would like about the exceptions, that business system and the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, so exception handling, how the work flows, how the chart, how exactly the chart is, I just able to see or understand just because of you. In the first glimpse it was very confusing, but in the last session, my like everything got clear. So there's no fear about looking at the big graph, or what is a big process which is already created. That there's no nothing to fear. I just have to keep my things very organized, and like things ready with me, and then I can do the automation. No worries.
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
Now, I am about to send a message to everyone who's watching now and further down the line. So if you're watching live, um, you can take action on this and also share what you feel about that. And if you're watching it later, definitely make sure to follow along, and follow this advice. So what I'm trying to so let me just send that message out in just a minute. The whole point of focusing on improving your LinkedIn connections and being an active member of the LinkedIn community, RPA community on LinkedIn, is that uh, again, if you're trying to develop a career, or just trying to be in the know of what is going on with RPA, and it doesn't just have to be UiPath. The reason we are talking about UiPath here is that UiPath is one of those platforms that has always had a free to learn component, free to develop component. So uh, many of the platforms or many companies have later on joined the fray and offered their limited capacity, free to use or free to learn or free to try kind of components. I have an entire video on my RPA for Everyone podcast. You can go and watch that video. I'll link it in the description. So I've covered how you can find out which of the platforms are offering free components and how to do the research before you decide what to learn. The reason we are focusing on UiPath is it has a free to learn component, and it's not just one. focused on, let's say, just development or just business analysis or just maybe some other component, but you get a taste of pretty much everything that you will be doing in the world of RPA. So that is just an easy win for me, that you go and get yourself a free cloud account and then get started by learning for free again on UiPath Academy. So I myself am a UiPath community MVP, and
Yeah.
so I am trying to spread the good word. This is a uh, you know not for profit job. So we're not doing this as a job. This is just uh, you know some of the RPA professionals helping out in the community. So we try to actively contribute on to the UiPath forums. We try to mentor beginners like Anirudh, and I have had, actually, interestingly enough, I have a comment on my previous video from someone saying I'm also a mechanical engineer and how can I get started on RPA. So I answered to them saying that Anirudh is already doing something like that, and you should also follow along. So um, yeah, so that's just one tool that we picked up, and we are trying to develop in that direction. But coming back to the main point, if you join RPA related or RPA focused groups, it'll tell you more about what each company is doing in the field of RPA. And again, not to sound like a broken record, but the reason RPA is kind of like on everyone's mind right now is that every company, regardless of what industry they belong to, what domain they belong to, every company is trying to uh, you know remove the fluff, or trim the fluff, as they say, meaning trying to remove all the processes that are just eating up their people's time by automating them, so that the people can do something better with their time. And whether you like it or not, automation is getting introduced to all the different sections of the business. And initially, I remember, a lot of people were skeptical about whether or not, this is a good thing, because, you know, robots, we are always kind of like, we hear these scary stories about robots are out to take our jobs and stuff. But robots, not the RPA robots, they're not really that intelligent yet, where they can just completely think for a human's, in place of a human. So what we are trying to do here, or what RPA does focus on, is just automating the stuff that does not need any mental energy. So some things we need to make wise decisions, we need to make cognizant decisions, and these are not these kind of processes. So we only automate processes that don't need kind of like cognizant decision making. It's just like A or B, C or D, just follow along a flow chart and you get there. So these kind of processes are gonna get automated over time, and whichever department you're currently working on, sooner or later, if robots are already not there, they will be. So knowing about RPA is definitely going to help you. So join those groups so that you can learn about these technologies, and then you know what to expect when things like these are happening around, or in your organization, in your team, in your department. So that's just a little bit of a rant, sorry. So yeah, I'm glad that you're focusing on growing your LinkedIn activity in the RPA community. And I think with your dispatcher performer, I would say this is an absolute win. So keep up on that track. By the time we meet up again next week, um, I think you'll already smashed another project easily by then. So do you already have a plan for what you're doing next week, or should we set up
Yeah,
some
I
kind of group?
I do have plan. Actually, after creating one dispatcher and performer, now I'm going to for a week at least. I will be going with the use cases
Mm-hmm.
already, which are like use cases which are available there.
Yeah.
So So what will happen that I will be in the same zone in the RE frame of RE frame only. So like where I will be looking after linear RE frame automation. So that's the main thing which is going in my mind right now. But yeah, if you have any another task, we'll definitely go with that. No worries. There's nothing
No,
like that.
so no, I would say okay. So I think I've already mentioned this maybe a couple of times last week, uh, but RE framework is not something that we will cover or you'll be able to master in one
Okay.
session or in a
Yeah.
10-minute video. I have said this before that anything that you if you just went and searched for RE framework on UiPath, the videos that you'll find they'll be 2 hours long, 45 minutes long, 1 hour
Yeah.
long, anywhere between 45 minutes and to 4 hours long.
Yeah.
So there is nothing that will cover RE framework in 10 minutes. I've been trying to or I've been wanting to make one that covers RE framework in 10 minutes, but still, regardless, that 10-minute video is not going to help you master RE framework. The point of that video will be just to simplify or mm, break it down so that you can take it in easy chunks. Although to actually master it or actually learn it properly, you have to just practice. So you the more you do, the better you will get at using RE
Yeah.
framework, and eventually it becomes second nature. Yeah, it is. There is a debate that I've always seen happening on RE framework is that beginners should beginners should not be expected to use RE framework, but that's I kind of am on the against in that camp. Like everyone should learn to use RE framework because even though the initial learning curve is a bit steep, so you have to really put in a lot of effort to
Yeah.
understand it. But
Yeah.
then the problem with not doing RE framework in the beginning when you are a beginner is that when you actually join the workforce, I would say 90% of the projects you're going to find, and now with the changing times, even let's make it 95% because now RE framework has been out since um, late 2017, I believe. So it's almost like 6 years now. All the projects that were even uh, built pre RE framework are now uh, they've been either upgraded to RE framework or just completely rebuilt. So if you're going to maintain someone else's project, because when you join, you'll either get to build your own project from scratch, or you'll join a team, or you'll inherit a robot process that you'll be maintaining. And then if you are someone who came up in the industry as a beginner, didn't really learn RE framework because as a beginner you
Yeah.
don't want to do that. I'll do it when I get to advanced level. That takes away all the time you had initially to learn about RE framework, and
Yeah.
then because of that, it might get you. It'll take you more time to understand how someone modified the RE framework. So if you don't have a default, the basic diagram of RE framework in your mind, then how someone modified it will be like an extra step of complications to understand. And I've gone through this personally in my experience, so that's why I mean it's not an opinion that I just you know um, artificially just made in my mind. That this is a real problem that I have faced, and that's why I'm 100% for learning RE framework as soon as you can. So when you start learning UiPath, once you're familiar with the basics, start learning RE framework because it is an industry standard as far as UiPath is concerned. So it'll definitely go a long way in developing or advancing your RPA career in UiPath. So keep learning RE framework. I think what we could focus or what we could target is that um, you you complete one more project, build it on something that you can personally find like
Yeah.
one problem statement. I'm sure. So one that you followed in on Mukesh's channel, that was definitely a strong win again. But there can be something else. So in this case, what you were doing was password recovery or something. So how about we improve it or change it by, let's say, introduce a new UiPath queue. I will build up a problem statement and put it in this spreadsheet, and then what
Okay.
we'll do with that problem statement is, let's take 1 week for you
Yeah.
to just go through that and think about it. If you have any questions, like we do connect offline aside from
Yeah.
these sessions, so that we can um, you know we can be ready for this session. So next time when we meet, based on that problem statement, uh, we will discuss what challenges you had in planning for it, and then also if you make any progress, then we can also review that, and then build up on that. So I will develop a problem statement for you here.
Crazy.
Once that is done, I'll update you, and then we can take it from there. So
Yes,
I
definitely.
expect that. So problem statement, that's for me to do. I'll add. I do have one in my mind, but I want to give you specific instructions. So there is one related to stock market, and we are, I mean, I'm going to give you that same one, but we'll discuss that on next week's session, and we'll see what you've done with that. So I'm adding 10th September as the next date. Okay, and we will review that. Now, aside from that, with the sorry, yeah, the REFramework, and I think you already completed the try catch block, and you didn't have any further questions with that.
No.
Okay, good. So yeah, I'm glad that you're getting familiar or getting comfortable with the try catch block, because that's an essential part of any programming in general. I have
You
been
won't. Shall I add one point as you smiled here? So let me add one point here.
mhm,
Okay.
mhm,
So whenever I do perform any task or any activity or any small bot, okay, even if
yep,
like see the process is multiple stages are there, then we make it happen, right?
yep,
So whenever there's an exception in the first go when I started doing this, like when I started performing the bots and all,
yep,
at the first go I used to get irritated a lot. Okay, how why this red thing is there in the output panel. Okay,
yep,
so it used to irritate me a lot. So it happened a couple of times that I've literally shut my laptop and I just did nothing. Okay, I just used to watch some of the other videos, also do get out of the box. Okay, so I
yep,
installed a small like cubic game on my phone. Okay,
mhm,
but I used to spend like half an hour or like 45 minutes entire day. Okay, so when
yep,
I used to do that, even the same feeling I used to get when I used to fail in that one, what we say, one lap or something. Okay, one stage. So
yep,
there I started realizing the UI path is also the same thing, or like this process or these activities are like a game only,
mhm,
where I have the task to do something where I can get the exceptions. So rather than getting irritated, I need to keep my mind calm and like think on what else I can do with that.
yep,
So that made me again to open my laptop and think as if it is a game. So whenever I have an exception, I just keep everything aside. I read it properly. I read the error or exception very properly. And as you help me with the last thing, that there's an immediate in the output panel, like those are the things. So I started searching for solution now rather than like uh,
yeah,
running away from the errors and exceptions. I started reading them properly, try to get them. and started using the debug. So like I will get where exactly the
Yeah.
problem is. So
Yeah.
I believe these are the right practices what every other individual might be doing in the real time scenarios, and getting the error solved. So
Yeah.
I hope I'm on the right track. But yeah, it
Yeah,
gives a lot of confidence, and I'm here with my family now. So every time make a bot, I go to my mom. I call my father here in my room, and I'm like, see what I have done. See.
look at this
So,
baby walking. Nice.
so it's like holding in hands and making it work, right?
Yeah, no,
So
definitely that's
yeah,
yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, like not this will probably sound too dramatic, but I think I was just watching a documentary or movie yesterday, and then there this quote from the movie Rocky came up. I'm not sure if you watched Rocky Balboa, the fighter boxer movie. There's like a series
I,
of 5 or 6 movies, and there's a very popular quote from the movie. It's like, it doesn't matter how many times you get hit, but it matters how many times you get up after you get
yeah,
hit. So it's
uh,
kind of like that. It's like it can get frustrating. It does get frustrating at times,
yeah,
but then it's just like the only thing you can do is to keep going. So I think I mean, I can somewhat relate to your pain, because and I say somewhat because it's not entirely applicable to me. I come from a programming background, but the UiPath framework works on a .NET framework, which is Microsoft's own .NET framework. So the language, as you would have seen in UiPath Studio, when you create a new project, it asks you VB or C sharp. But I
yeah,
come from a
really.
Java programming background, which the syntax is slightly different. And in my initial days, I would literally have to Google everything in how to do it in VB.NET, because my Java syntax is basically useless in doing that. So even things like a value.to string, I would have to Google it initially how to do that. And so Uncle Google is your best friend when
Yeah,
you're
and I
programming.
feel
So
very privileged. I feel very privileged that they have updated everything. Now you can like, and now I can get all everything about the strings and everything, string
yeah,
manipulation, everything is there online. Just the fact I have to keep my mind calm and search it properly.
yeah,
So yeah, less
so
efforts, but yeah, like I can relate with you that how the things might be for you in the initial go.
yeah. So, okay. So I think this has been, uh, yeah, this was, I would say, this was one of the more successful sessions that we've had. I can even see that the activity today is more. I've seen like uh, many more people attending the session. So thank you, everyone. Um, I can see that people have been joining from different geographies, so thank you for that. We really appreciate you sharing in this journey with us. And if you have any feedback, anything that Anirudh could be doing differently to help speed up his progress, we are all ears, because the whole point here is to learn, and I'm also learning as I help Anirudh through his journey. So if you have any feedback that can make this progress even more exponential, please share that with us in the comments, and also go and connect with Anirudh on LinkedIn. He will guide you to join the right RPA groups. Now he has like the perfect latest knowledge on that. So make sure to send him a connection request if you're in the RPA world, and also help him get ahead in this journey. So we are just a little over time today, but we also started kind of late. So I will say, thank you for joining, and also next time, we'll review what Anirudh has done, and it'll again be on the same time next Sunday, whichever time zone you're in. It's 11 p.m. for me, so it's almost like it's morning. My Monday has just begun, so happy Monday to you. But whichever time zone you're in, we'll see you again same time next week. And thanks for joining us. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, Ash.